Have you heard of Brexit? Are you confused to what it means? I'm going to clarify a little bit about Brexit. Brexit is short for Britain voting to leave or exit the European Union. First, we will go over a brief explanation on what the EU is, then we will cover Britain's relationship within the Union. Finally, we will examine what it means for Britain to leave the EU. The European Union was formed in 1993. It was originally thought of and started under different names after World War II. The purpose was to create a better relationship between France and Germany. The European Union has both economic and political benefits for its 28 members. Wikipedia says the EU policies aim to ensure the free movement of people, goods, services, and capital within the internal market, enacts legislation in justice and home affairs, and maintain common policies on trade, agriculture, fisheries, and regional development. The single market, which allows for free movement, also includes customs union, which applies a common external tariff on all goods brought into the union. Once the goods are brought into the union, they cannot be subjected to duties, taxes, or import quotas as they travel throughout. Britain is part of the EU single market. Britain has been a part of the internal trade but has not been willing to join on the monetary side of the Union. Future historians may well regard the European Council of December 2011 as an important milestone in the UK's increasingly difficult relationship with its partner in the EU. At this meeting, the EU declined to sign on to the proposed changes that would have made financial regulations stricter, reduced debt, and also a stricter budget. Britain did not sign on for this because it would give up more national control over budgets and restrict the financial services section. Britain in 2011 did not want to give up certain controls to be a part of the Union, and it seems the trend has continued. It continued to June 23, 2016, when Britain voted 52% to leave the European Union. If no treaty is agreed upon, EU law simply ceases to apply to Britain 2 years after it gives formal notice, as the formal notice it is leaving the Union. And until a departure treaty is signed, which requires assent from Britain and a majority of the remaining 27, weighted by population, Britain remains in principle a full member of the EU, but will be excluded from discussions affecting its exit terms. In practice, many expect British ministers and lawmakers to be rapidly frozen out of much of the EU's affairs. For right now, the outcome is up in the air. Many people fear that the country will go into a recession to deal with the aftermath of this decision. Others feel this will be for a short period of time. Germany has warned that there will be no informal talks on the conditions for Britain leaving the European Union without London filing formal notice of its intent to quit. As top EU and US officials scramble to contain the fallout from the vote, the only thing close to this situation may be the EU's relationship with Norway. Norway is not an EU member, but it trades with Europe as a member of the European Economic Area. As a result, Norway is obliged to follow EU single market regulations without having a say in them, and pays dues to Europe equivalent to 90% of what the British currently pay per capita, according to The Economist. So basically, going forward, Britain's fees to be in the EU could be similar to what they are now. The European Union and Britain will have to work out how this will look going forward. The EU could try to make an example out of Britain. This is what happens when you leave. It could turn into a cautionary tale, but more likely the relationship will look similar to how it looks for Norway. Thank you.